Hi, my name is Val, and I usually talk about interior decor and design, but today I want to talk about something else that I figured was important to share: my experience with taking a break from drinking alcohol. This video is for anyone who is also considering taking a break or maybe even quit entirely. Maybe your loved one is currently sober and you're trying to support them, or you're just curious about the topic itself. It is now finally February, and the days are getting slightly lighter in the Northern Hemisphere, and it feels like we're getting a little bit closer to spring. This year, I decided to use the most dreaded dark month to do some good for myself, which I now feel is paying off. See, I've been in a personal situation where I've been home a lot during the day and at the same time being social pretty frequently at night over the past couple of months. I moved closer to the city center when I bought my current apartment, and that came with a much more active social life. At the same time, I stopped working for a while at the end of September. So the days and the evenings at home felt very long. I wasn't feeling that great mentally, and I was at the same time constantly meeting up with old and new friends to combat that, sense of boredom, loneliness, etc. Usually there was a decent amount of drinking involved, which I think is not uncommon in the fall and the winter for a lot of people, especially around the holidays. But in the end, I developed a pattern that did not make me feel good, and I knew it would lead to consequences if it continued. So I wanted to take a full month break and use that time to lessen my alcohol intake when the month was over. My goals were as followed. I wanted to feel more clear-minded and energized now that I'm going back to work. I wanted to feel good in the gym and really be able to push myself and also not miss any more morning yoga classes. I wanted to start my mornings off earlier and make good use of my evenings as well. And I wanted to just look better in my skin, less bloating, and most importantly, I generally wanted to feel proud of myself. So whatever your goals might be, I hope this video inspires you a little. Oh, and I won't be using a lot of imagery just because I don't feel like it'll really add to any of the points. So if you want to, feel free to just play this as a podcast if you like, unless you really love looking at my now less bloated face, which I wouldn't blame you. All right, now finally, here's what I learned from Dry January. Number one, the first week or maybe even 10 days will be hard. They will be the hardest. Basically because of withdrawal, especially if you were drinking quite a bit before you stopped. There's the positive effects haven't kicked in yet, so you're not really being motivated by those. And it's hard to break any pattern, whether that's a dependency or not. It's just hard to break patterns in general, and it does take some getting used to. But don't give up hope, because number two is that you will continuously feel better and better throughout the month. Especially starting at about 10 days or 2 weeks. Like I said, you will feel physically better, less bloating, maybe your skin will look better, you'll feel more energized, and mentally, you'll be more clear-minded. You won't have any of those regrets. You'll just feel better about yourself in general. So hold on tight, because the positive effects will come. Number three, take things day by day. I believe this is a point that AA teaches in the US. I don't think we have a similar system here in the Netherlands where I live, but the point is great nonetheless. See, when you've been drinking quite a bit, it's very hard to imagine going without for a whole month or even 2 weeks. And it doesn't work very well to say, okay, well, I'm a quarter of the month in, or I still have half to go. Focus instead on how many days you've already been sober versus how many you have left. So count up and don't count down. And when you're having a bad craving or you're feeling a little hopeless about it, remember, you just have to get through this one day at a time. Number 4, you're gonna have cravings, but remember that they only last a couple minutes at a time. You wouldn't think so, right? But yeah, they do. Usually it helps to even just drink something refreshing and cold, or a hot cup of tea, whatever you prefer, maybe eat something, and it'll usually pass. I mean, when I crave a white wine, for example, I'll have a cold green iced tea, and it has a little bit of a similar taste, and bam, 5 minutes later, with a little help of a distraction, the craving is gone. Number 5, tell people around you that you're currently sober, even if it's just for a month. An accountability buddy, much like an AA sponsor, can be very helpful. But even if you don't have one of those, just telling people and saying out loud that you're not drinking can create a bigger sense of responsibility for yourself, and your loved ones will likely keep it in mind and support you. This also, just saying up front that you're going to do it, makes it easier to talk about it when you're going through a rough time with it, or just looking for some advice. Whatever the case may be, tell people, just be open about it. Number 6, and I'm out of fingers without dropping this mic, but number 6 is to avoid triggers. And that sounds a little obvious, but it's a good reminder nonetheless. For example, definitely don't keep alcohol in the house while you're doing this. If you live with multiple people, if it's roommates, you can ask them to keep their alcohol in their room. If it's a partner, I'm sure you guys can work something out. Try to also avoid media that contains alcohol, especially if it's the alcohol that you like. I love Real Housewives, but those women can drink a lot of wine, and wine is kind of my favorite drink, so I tried not to watch too much Real Housewives while I was doing this dry January bit. At the same time, if I see someone taking tequila shots, that's not appealing to me whatsoever, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, generally try to avoid media that makes alcohol look really appetizing. And also, don't go to parties where alcohol is a free-for-all. That kind of rhymed. But yeah, definitely don't go to a party where you can just grab anything you want. If you want to go do something social, it's smarter to meet up at a bar or cafe where you really have to place an order. And it makes it a lot easier to just stick with sodas or non-alcoholic beers and things like that. Number 7, try to let go of the idea that you should have alcohol at certain occasions. For example, when you're celebrating something, we have to cheers to this, we have to buy alcohol. Or if you're having a particularly bad day, yeah, but this day was so bad, I deserve it, I should go drink. And the same goes for having lunch with your mom when you're shopping. For some reason, my mom and I always have a wine with our lunch when we're doing a shopping date. And it's kind of odd because neither of us usually drinks with lunch anyway. And I mean, why would we have to do that? Now, I'm not saying I never want to do this again, but I'm just saying while you're having a period of sobriety, you don't have to adhere to these rules of when alcohol should be consumed. Number 8, you will probably crave other guilty pleasures more, such as sweets, snacks, shopping, or a little smoky smoke if that's legal in your country. Apparently, all the good stuff starts with an S. Give yourself grace with those, because as long as you pay attention that you don't create another dependency, it's okay to lean a little bit more on other vices while you've completely cut one out of your life. Important side note, I am not a medical professional whatsoever. I have a degree in psychology, but it's a bachelor's, so I don't know how far that'll get me. But if you have certain personal situations or conditions, obviously talk to your medical professional or nutritionist, therapist, whoever it may be, before you even start this whole process, and definitely before you start leaning on other vices, such maybe don't go too hard on the candy if you have diabetes, or Maybe if you're bankrupt, don't go shopping a lot. But number 10 falls into a similar category as being kind to yourself, and that's not being a perfectionist. Let's say you cave one time during the month. Okay, big deal. You'll still have gone a whole month minus 1 day. That's still a really big accomplishment, and it's a lot better than just continuing to drink as usual. You know, let it go. It's all right not to be perfect. You're doing a good job nonetheless. Number 10, not drinking will make you so much more productive and free up so much of your time. It's kind of like the chicken or the egg, where on the one hand, you do more to stay busy and keep yourself from drinking. But on the other hand, because you're not drinking, you also have the energy to do more. Use this time to maybe take up some projects that you've been meaning to get to, or maybe even better, pick up a hobby that you can continue when your sober period is over to kind of keep you on track for afterwards. And in the meantime, also, just enjoy it. Number 11, give yourself something to look forward to at the end of your sober period. See, internal motivation, like wanting to show up for yourself, definitely works best, but a little external motivation could help as well. Tell yourself that if you fulfill your goal, you can finally buy that item you've been wanting or even take a little trip. It's nice to reward yourself for the good things you do anyway. Number 12 is the last step in your process, but it's definitely a very important one, and that's to make a plan for when your sober period is over. Are you maybe going to limit yourself to a certain amount of drinks a week? Or are you going to say, only going to drink so and so many nights per week or per month, or maybe only socially and never at home? Whatever your goals may be, I'm not telling you what they should be, but it's good to have them. Now is the time to use the momentum that you've built to set healthier habits. But even if you can't stick to them, you'll still have given your body and mind a month-long break from alcohol. And you'll probably remember why drinking less is better for you. And now that you know you can do it, you can always do another dry month when you feel that you need it. So yeah, if you find that you drink more than you would like to, I highly recommend challenging yourself to do a set dry period like I did. And if you already have and want to share some other tips or experiences, of course, feel free to do so. Good luck to everybody out there and take good care of yourself.